I have 1,000 followers on Instagram, 200 Snapchat friends, 300 Facebook friends, and still sometimes I feel completely alone. This made me wonder, does the increase of social media and technological advances lead to the increased depression in our society? So in this speech, I will be discussing types of social media, the link between social media and depression, and why these two correlate. So just to illustrate how many people are actually using social media platforms, I researched 5 different ones. And so in 2020, 26.9 million people were using Instagram, 210 million people use Snapchat, 145 million people use Twitter, 1.69 billion people use Facebook, and 800 million use TikTok. The link between social media and depression. So teenage and young adults who spend more time on Instagram and Facebook had a 13 to 66% higher rate of depression than those who did not. And in a 2017 study, over 500,000 8th to 12th grade students showed a 33% increase of high level of depressive symptoms from 2010 to 2015. Suicide rate for girls in that age group increased by 65%. And by 2015, 92% of teens had smartphones. So with all these numbers, I just wanted to illustrate the fact that so by 2015, 92% of teens had smartphones. So everyone had a phone in their hand. And leading up to this, it showed, or adolescents and young adults showed higher rates of depression, increased suicide rates. So it kind of shows a correlation between getting smartphones, having social media, everyone, and this increase of depression in our society. So why would social media lead to depression? I have 4 main points for this topic. My first one is less time communicating person to person. So in contrary to belief, experts say connections electronically are less emotionally satisfying and leaves people feeling socially isolated. So I think a problem in the younger generation is since they grew up with texting and social media, they resort to Facebook messaging and sending a text rather than communicating with a person face to face. And this really, this is a real problem because they're not getting that connection emotionally, and this kind of can leave them feeling unsatisfied and not as happy. My next point is that, especially with Instagram's full of pictures of a perfect life or a perfect person, body, having the perfect spouse or partner. It kind of just, like, in other words, the younger generation's self-confidence is being compromised by social media's false allegations of normal, because now that I'm older, I know that those pictures, they're just pictures. They're not their lives. Everyone has problems, and that those pictures aren't showing the full story. So my third point is that with social media, this leaves less time to have physical activity. And physical activity, like working out or even going on a walk, releases dopamine, it helps with happiness and pleasure in your body. It's a chemical that does this, and without that physical activity, you're not having that dopamine release that you would in other cases. So also, sleep deprivation is my fourth point. So 60%, a study showed 60% of adolescents look at their phone before bed. So this can cause a number of problems. For one, it can cause you stress before going to bed, which is a problem because no one can sleep when they're stressed. But also, the light from the electronic device, either the phone or if you're on your laptop, that tells your brain not to go to sleep because it's a light, and so it's really gonna make you struggle to sleep and sleep well. So, in conclusion, social media prevents person-to-person connections, puts a false allegation of normal in your head, leaves less time for physical activity, and can cause struggle with sleeping. So this is why the increase of social media and technological advances leads to the increased depression in our society.